On this week's episode, we talk about why you can't make money on Amazon.
We talk about what makes a gift that will be cherished at Christmas time.
And we solve the problem, the age-old problem of taking out the bins.
In our classic fashion.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm Neil.
And I'm Matt, and we are the Invention Junkies.
We lost our jobs at a high-tech startup to 3 months to start a successful design business on our own.
Listen in to follow our story, relive our failures, and join us on this race against the clock.
Good news. This
Hells
week
yeah.
is a big week.
Oh,
We say
Well,
that every week, but this is the biggest week so
we mean
far.
it. It's the biggest of all the
because
weeks.
There's 2 digits. It is episode 10. Oh yeah.
I mean, the other way of looking at it is 10 weeks, and where are we compared to where we said we thought we'd
Well,
be?
I'm glad you said that because the biggest news of the week is we are cash positive.
Yes.
Not only are we cash positive, we officially have more in our bank account than we started by putting in. That is a successful business, right? We did it. We're rich.
We did it. That's it. We should probably wrap it up now. End on a high. I mean,
Episode title will be "We Did It," and then that's it. We can just stop the show now.
we did it. So we got cash update.
Cha-ching.
Bank account is showing £11.02 more in it than it was when we started with the money that we put in. That said, there are expenses to come out of that we haven't accounted for yet. It's just there's a little gap in the cash flow. So we're celebrating it while we can because it's very quickly going to...
Yeah, our accounts, our books are to the 29th of the month. That's so it's for November we're cash positive. For December we'll be negative.
and it starts again.
Yeah. No, I think it is a win though because it's some validation that what we've been doing is in the right direction and wanted, and we have a lot of irons in the fire or plates that are spinning, irons that are spinning and plates in the fire.
Juggling plates.
But it's nice to see that things are moving in what we think is the right direction. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
We also
yeah,
discovered, you discovered, I would have had no idea. I'd still be sitting here with no idea.
Yeah, I know. We made an organic sale.
Oh yeah.
Complete passive income. We did nothing. We made money while we was asleep. And we made a whole $3.50 from selling a course on Udemy that we did earlier in the year, which we mentioned in the previous episode about one of the things that we tested. So someone organically bought it and are halfway through the course. And you don't get notified every time you make a sale on that. It just sort of happens, and you just get a monthly summary. But I just had a little look and noticed that we've got an extra student, and more money coming in. Although saying that, it was a kind of shocking how much people take their cut of what you've done. So the course was, I think the list price is $30. We run it through Udemy, which is an online learning platform. They had an offer on which you can subscribe to, so that you can be included in when they run offers. So it's site wide, which we agreed to. So then it means they decided to sell it for $12, I think it was.
Yeah.
Then it was sold through iTunes, I think it was.
Yeah.
And iTunes took a cut of that. And then Udemy took a cut of that. So we're left with $3 at the end of it after that month of effort we put into it.
Yeah, it's a common platform thing where they say, oh, if it's through our lead, from their advertising or whatever, which I guess makes sense, right? We wouldn't have made the sale if it wasn't for them. Then they take a larger cut. So if you've got an affiliate link kind of thing, if we send out a link and people use that link, then you get a much higher cut than if Udemy do it. But it's the iTunes bit that bugs me because it's come out of our cut rather than out of their cut. And I haven't advertised on iTunes. They have. They've made that decision, but it comes out of our percentage. So it was a little bit frustrating. I mean, it's great that it's doing something, but obviously we want more.
We'll talk a little bit in a sec about all the companies taking a cut out of your profits. seems to be quite a theme that we're noticing at the moment.
Yeah. I think just before we do that, there was another thing that happened this week that blew your mind, and I couldn't tell if I was angry at your reaction at the time because it's possibly the worst thing you've ever done to me.
It wasn't that bad.
We were on a call and we're both getting on with stuff, clicking through tabs, and you just dropped dead almost. You were just your jaw opened, you made this and then you just speechless. And I was oh my God, what's happened? Has someone died? Have we made money? Have we what's going on? And I was shouting at you, and you just wouldn't react, which was
my
driving
brain
me even
shut
more
down.
crazy.
My brain shut down. It was you went, what is it? What's happened? What? And I can remember
Show
you
me.
saying that, and I was thinking, can't talk. Couldn't figure it out. So what happened was we've been trying to find manufacturers to manufacture these storage drawers that we've found a market for, and struggling, to say the least, with finding someone who's going to do it the right sizes to the right sort of cost, with I guess with the right materials. We found a supplier that does it easily out of ABS plastic, and it was easy, but it's a very difficult plastic to recycle. We're well, we're just adding to landfill here. This is not really good.
It's hard making money when you have principles, right?
really hard, yeah. So anyway, we found a supplier who can make them out of a recycled material, shall we say, or very easily recyclable material.
Yeah.
And we've been speaking to a lot of them, and some they say, "Oh yeah, we'll message you back," and you don't hear anything. And this one had gone above and beyond. I'd sent a drawing. It wasn't even a technical drawing. It was a sketch basically with some dimensions, and that was it.
May as well have been a photo of something that we'd seen on a shelf in the supermarket.
Yeah. And anyway, and this was I won't give too much away because we're still pursuing it. But it's a company that it's not their typical thing that they'd make.
No.
We thought about doing it differently with this type of company. So, for example, it could be a company makes cakes, and we say, "Oh, can you make us a cake set of drawers?" That sort of thing. We're trying to think differently. And they replied the next day with a fully made sample and a video of it. So when I was just checking through my messages, they'd sent a video of this set of drawers they'd made up on their in their offices, and they're showing how they work. And was well, you did it. This is what we want. We was expecting to have to pay a few £100 for a one-off sample.
Yeah.
And we didn't even ask them for a sample. They just said, "Oh yeah, like this," and they'd already made one. So I was blown away. So that was the
our turnaround time isn't even that quick.
exactly. Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, I think with that, it's been a great week. Those are some of the memorable moments, and we also this week say goodbye to the most popular segment. No, we're shaking things up. We like to shake things up. And so we're going to segue now into our new segment. Neil, take it away.
Well, theme of the week's dead. There's no more theme of the week. This segment is focused on anyone specifically looking at starting a business like we are, and sharing some snippet of business knowledge that we found this week that might help someone along the same journey, or just have a general interest. So it's for potential founders. Therefore, this segment is called Founders Fortune.
Oh, yeah, that's going to work really well. Yeah.
We might change that, actually. We'll see how it goes.
So I think a quick shout out to 4 Hour Work Week. We love that book. It's one of the books that we read a lot of. And I think, you're the biggest fan of this book when it comes to mentioning tips and tricks and things that they talk about doing to raise money in a startup and a business environment. And
I think so. Just on that book, while we're here, we'll put a link in the show notes so you can check out yourself. it covers lots of different areas of working less and how to automate things and those things. And I think I read it and it was a real eye opener to how to do this. Whereas a lot of these books say, oh, you just need to find an idea. Oh, you just need to sell it. And there's none that sort of tell you how to do it. And it's a bit old now. I think it came out in like 2007. So a lot of the advice is a little bit outdated. But I still like the sort of the attitude and the approach that it takes. We can't follow it word for word because it does sort of say, you're not here to sort of save the world. You're here to just sort of make money. So we are approaching it with more morals, and it makes it a bit harder. So that's the only caveat. So sorry.
No, that was 4-hour work week. But I think you struck on a good point there, and it's the conflict. And there shouldn't be, but there is in this day and age. There's a conflict between making money and trying to do the right thing. And I think we should just jump into it. We were looking at Amazon. So the 4-hour work week is all about scaling, get your things on platforms, get them selling so that you're not the one, putting all the effort in. And there's a number of different platforms, but obviously if you're going for gold, you go for the big one. And Amazon is the global, it's the biggest, it's where everyone sells. And so, you were doing some research. What would it take for us to list on Amazon?
Yeah. So we're looking at how long it takes us to turn around to set these drawers, to make, to ship, and all those sorts of things, and looking at where we can automate. So Amazon is a distribution center. You can sell on them. You can actually just sell and ship them yourself, but you can do it all through them. And one of the unknowns was how much this is all going to cost and how much return we get and those sorts of things. So it was still a big unknown that I think we'd sort of left unresearched for too long. So I wanted to sort of just work out what the numbers were and figure that all out.
And if I can just jump in quickly on calculating stuff, we'll have a conversation and we'll say, if it costs us this much and we sell it for this much, and that works up to a point, but then you start to forget about costs. There's always going to be things that you forget about. Is there a storage fee? Is there a logistics fee?
We spoke about this last week, didn't we? About or was it a couple of weeks ago? Just on how much it costs to make a product and those sorts of things. And that's not even that's with us making it at home and storing it at home and shipping it from home. But then when you go into a logistics center, then it's another cost on top. So did some research, and before we just tease everybody, precursor to this, I'm not sure if anyone's had the same sort of thing. When you're looking into sort of starting a business and ways to make money and things like that, you do get pounded with adverts saying, "Oh, I made 6 figures a year just by selling these things on Amazon, and it's very easy. I'll show you how." So there's
it's the Etsy ones that get me. It's I raking in like a 6-figure salary or whatever, and you're like, oh wow, if you can do it making earrings, then my idea is way better than just earrings.
Yeah, and it turns out there's so many hurdles there that you just aren't aware of. They're not impossible, but they make it very difficult to sort of turn over revenue. So Amazon kindly have a calculator where you can work out how much it's going to cost them to fulfill your product. Fulfill meaning that they store it, and then when someone orders it, they fulfill the order. And we can pop a link to that as well. It's free to use. You can do it from a guest account. You don't need to log in, and you can search their products, and you can use an example. So if there's something similar to what you're selling, you can look up what they've got already listed, and it'll tell you what the fees are for that item for whoever's selling it. And oh my god, I was absolutely mind blown just how much of a cut they take.
I'm mortified. I genuinely already. I think it's a guilt thing. It's like, that you're doing something you probably shouldn't be. It's like getting something off, Temu or these really cheap. Oh, I just want this quick thing that's just super cheap, so I'm gonna just spend this money. But there's a little bit of guilt to it, or cheeky me, or naughty me, whatever. But now it's like, it's not just bad because it's coming from Amazon. It's bad because you realize the depth of what they're doing to people to sell on Amazon.
So here's a working example. There is a multi-pack, pack of 12 Kleenex tissues. and the item price is £18.55.
Yeah.
That's so when you buy it for £18.55. Have a guess. Well, actually, Matt, pretend to guess because you're already the answer. Pretend to guess just how much profit the seller will get out of the £18.55 once it's gone through Amazon. And I say profit. This is not. This is
not
how much
including
it
my
cost
own
them.
costs. Yeah.
No, this is this is not their own cost.
So
This is
I'm the
just Amazon
Kleenex
cost.
brand. I've developed this revolutionary facial tissue. It's soft. It's great. People want it, and I want to sell it. I want to sell it on the biggest marketplace in the world. So I come to Mr. Bezos and I say, please, Mr. Bezos, stock my Kleenex, please, please, please. I've already got distribution. I've already got, my Kleenex in shops, but people don't like going to the shops anymore because of your business. So please, please, please. And he says, yeah, of course, mate. Hop in. Yeah,
not
we've
a
got
problem.
warehouses. Don't worry about it. You just box them up. You send them to us. And I don't know, what would be fair? And I say, oh, well, I sell them for £18. So maybe I'll give you 20% of that. We could say 10% for storage, 10% for distribution. And he goes,
Yeah.
nah, nah. In fact, you can be Bezos in this situation.
I need a bold cut.
Quick, shave your head. So, all right. I don't know. How about I give you 30%, 15 for storage, 15 for distribution. So if out of my 18, I'll walk away with, 12.
That would seem reasonable in a normal world, Matt. But this is not a normal world. This is the world of Amazon, where I'm going to take £12.95, and you can have £5.60.
That's more than half, Mr. Bezos. That doesn't seem fair to me.
Well,
Okay, we can drop that, but that's not even including my costs. So let's say £18. I'm listing the product at £18. I have to actually make the tissues. I still have to package them and send them to Amazon.
Yeah.
And then Amazon store them and distribute them. So I've got employees, I've got insurance, I've got all of these overheads. Sure, yes, they're a big conglomerate. I'm sure they're deforesting half but this isn't about Kleenex. This is about Amazon. It means that I have £5 to work with for this to be profitable.
yeah.
To still sell on Amazon. And you look at that, and we went through a couple of examples, and they're literally scraping pennies.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the one caveat there is VAT coming out of that. So there's of that £18, £3, 9 pence, whatever it is,
Yeah.
10% VAT. So then Amazon take a cut of that, and you're left with £5.60 profit at the end of it. So you could say, aha, well, I know the answer to this. What I'll do is I'll charge more. I'll pump my price up. So nicely, the Amazon calculator.
So I'll say, okay, Mr. Bezos, my Kleenex are now premium. They are the best tissue. They're laced with this invisible fiber that means they're just worth so much more. They cost me the same to make, but I'm going to promote them as a premium product. So what are we going to sell them at? £100?
Yeah, let's sell them at 100.
Okay. So, Mr. Bezos, they now cost £100. They're exactly the same product for you. You just put them on the shelf. You sell them. They take up the same space, same weight, same dimensions. Everything that you see is exactly the same. I'm just going to sell them for more.
Yep.
So we'll keep to our original agreement, right? You'll take £15, and now because I sell them for 100, I get 75.
Well, doesn't work that way. You will definitely get a much bigger profit here now. But instead of charging you £12, I'm going to charge you £39 because you'll get more money, so I should too.
I think, look, we've over-egged it a little bit, but the point of this is that Amazon's entire system is structured around encouraging the sale of quantity of products, because it doesn't matter what they're selling, they're getting this massive proportion of the list fee. So yes, if you sell something that's more expensive, you might get slightly more of that cut. And so you can see why people would be incentivized to raise the prices just to be on Amazon. They probably have to balance the overheads that they're now paying a premium to list on Amazon. But they also are encouraged to, because then Amazon makes more. And so all of Amazon's sneaky little tactics work towards this. And I've been watching, it's pretty popular at the moment, this new film on Netflix. It's a documentary called Buy Now. It's just uncovering all of the other things that you thought you knew about companies like Amazon, Adidas, or Adidas if you're American. All of the tactics and secrets that a lot of you probably already know, but you see the level that they're taken to. And one of the things that they mention is that it's cheaper for Amazon to throw stuff out, for it to go to landfill, than to keep storing it. So Mr. Kleenex comes along and sells his tissues to Amazon, and they're not even getting to a customer because Amazon go, right, okay, whatever, contract's up, we'll give you your £5 because that's cheaper for us than selling it, because then we have to deliver it, and we're just gonna send it to landfill. It's fine, doesn't matter, it's cheap, easy, let's just burn it.
Yeah. So there's a few examples. You mentioned an example of Lego in that documentary. Where there was Lego sets in the landfill.
Whole unopened boxes of the Hogwarts set from Lego. And Lego try to be more sustainable. Yes, it's still plastic made and it's ABS, but they're doing their bit and they do think about it. And I think, can you imagine being, the logistics manager at Lego, and you go through all of this hassle to be like, oh, well, going with Amazon means this bad stuff, but it means this good stuff. And you're like, we'll just do it. And then you see on the news, and this is actually as old as 2021, this has come out, but you see on the news that these groundbreaking sets that kids want for Christmas, that people want all over the world, like this coveted item that's worth hundreds of pounds, in a bag heading to landfill because it's too expensive to keep on the shelf.
So with all the bad side of it, we thought we should probably give a little bit on what you can do.
Yes, it's not all doom and gloom. There are choices and options.
Yeah, you can still sell on Amazon and use a third-party fulfillment facility. Now, what was that acronym? 3PL?
3PL. Third-party logistics.
Yeah, 3PL. So there's a lot of companies out there that will let you store in their warehouse and they'll ship it on. And you can still sell through Amazon, and I believe there's a way to link them together. I've not looked into what that looks like. Yeah. So that hopefully is a way to bring costs down, so that you're fighting the system. So it means that you're not having to push for things to be cheaply made, because that's the thing, isn't it? It's you end up forcing the things to be made cheaper, and because you're then cutting out quality, which means it's going to break sooner, and you're probably using workforce which if it's abroad, you don't know what conditions they're working under and what they're being paid. So it's not all just to line your pockets, it's to make sure that everyone gets a fair cut of the profits in the whole chain. It's not just going to Jeff Bezos to fly rockets into space, So there's that as an option. There's also I was talking to a friend who's had some bad experience with Amazon, and mentioned Etsy's a lot cheaper, and we've found the same, that Etsy's okay. Now I know you can link 3PL to Etsy as well, so that it becomes more of an automated system.
There are still high fees with all of these platforms. Even with Etsy, there's a cut, and I think once you make over a certain amount, the proportions change, and there's still different fees. But Etsy better connects with a direct audience as well, and there's a huge benefit to that, especially if you're in a marketplace where you care about what people think of your product and improving it and keeping that good design alive.
Yeah. There's also eBay. It depending on what you're selling. I know eBay is not. People shy away from it for some things and not others. Yeah. What I heard is that the best thing is to actually sell things on your own website using something like Shopify, which links to your website. Now, there are sort of monthly fees with having an e-commerce account on your website. Shopify seems to make it easy. We've not used it, but it seemingly makes it a lot easier. And then if you have a Shopify account, then that links to your 3PL. Then you're cutting out Amazon altogether and selling it that way by getting paying a reasonable amount for your selling fees and your distribution fees.
I was talking to someone about just everything we're finding really, which is how much it costs to make something, how cheap you can get it made, but then how much the costs are, and on this side of it, and all of that. And they said, "Oh, I don't think we'd I don't think we'd be able to afford anything if nothing was made in China. And it was an interesting thought, and it's one of those things that we've come to sort of learn this sort of, this is the way things are. If you went back 100 years, 80 years, or whatever, it wasn't the same. So if you got a hole in your socks, you'd stitch them up. You wouldn't just chuck them away because it's too cheap. So we've got a learned behavior now where we've got this abundance, and unfortunately, what comes with abundance is the attitude of
Waste.
Of waste, yeah, and it just ends up. You don't see the bit that ends up in landfill. That's yeah, that's the other side of it. That's invisible to you, isn't it? You just see the stuff coming in, and it's cheap, and that's why things aren't cherished and things aren't held for longer. And you get this attitude of, oh, it's looking a bit ratty, I'll just get a new one, and that just chuck it in the bin, and that bit's invisible. Once it leaves your house, it's gone, it's out your sight, and there's so much behind the scenes that you can't see that leads to this problem.
And we're all guilty of it with things. And I don't want to bang on about, you should fix everything and blah, blah, blah. Like, I understand that we all have a limited amount of time in the day, and not everyone feels like they have the time to, fix their sofa when it snaps in two or whatever. But I think it's a principle of accumulating things and replacing things because, they're like a little bit less okay than when you first got it. And, we did a social post recently about emotional durability, and, the fact that you stitched your sock up yourself and whatever means that you're probably a little bit more attached to it. It's actually like one of the IKEA principles is that if you make it yourself, you're more likely to cherish this thing because you love it. And there's a flip side to that with IKEA, but I can't be bothered to bang on about cheaply made products. But I think we wanted to link this to Christmas and the accumulation of presents that we buy for people, rather than focusing on a single thing that someone's going to cherish. This like mass ordering of loads of these things. And I think you have a different angle to me because you're a parent, and I think there's a different pressure that comes with that. And you mentioned this the other day. I'll hand over.
Yeah, we. I went on a bit of a rant. It was a bit out of the blue, really. Should have been recording. I don't know if we're recording. But as a parent, you want Christmas to be magical for your kids. You want that. Wow, loads of presents. This is amazing. It to be special and surprising, and then to sort of remember it forever. But you put so much pressure on yourself to make that happen, and you get into this mindset of, I need more volume of gifts rather than well thought out gifts, because you want it to that magical look of presents under the tree. And so you might spend more than you budgeted because it looks more, and you're sort of going to that sort of trying to get that magical moment for the kids. And then when they've opened them, it might be things that now, rather than spending an amount on something that they're really going to love and cherish and enjoy, and that's it, you've now got them that as well as 10 other things that they don't care so much about, or whatever the number is, and that means that then dilutes the enjoyment they have for this one thing, because they're now distracted with all these other things. And like my mum would say something like, oh, you can never have too many toys. And I always argue with her and say, you can have too many toys, because they've got so many at this point that they don't know what they've got, and they don't play with them all, and they've only got a certain amount of time to play with toys. It gets to the point where they've got more toys than they can play with, and then you end up with these things that are just sitting on the shelf, sitting in the box, and they outgrow them because the kids are always growing, and their interests change, and it's just so wasteful. And it's all from trying to build up to that magical moment on Christmas morning, when really it's we put this pressure on ourselves, and that leads to the buying, and everything sort of comes into it. And unfortunately, this is part of the problem.
I think we mentioned some of the things that we cherished growing up, and I'm sure we're lucky to be in a position where we had Christmases and had presents given to us. And I think you probably don't look back and think of the stocking fillers that, exist these days, and, the little bits to kind of pad around the edges. And, we've talked about, you've got this Fisher-Price wind-up drill.
But I had it when I was like 3. Comes in a little toolkit. You've got a little plastic set of screws and a little workbench that you can screw together. And I've still got it, and it still works because it's wind up. There's no batteries in it, and my kids have even played with it, and it's still and it's probably going to go on to grandkids. To be honest with you, I've cherished it because it's something that I've always been able to play with and make something different with. A bit like Lego, it's configurable.
Yeah.
And it, because it's wind up, there's no batteries that are going to go. It just works. Like it was built to last, and it still lasts. I've lost a couple of bits, but it's still going.
So for me, Christmas was Lego, and it's the gift that keeps on giving, especially as a child. You can go through the instructions, and that's probably like a week process of getting through, one set from start to finish. And then you've got the play that comes after. You want Lego Star Wars and Harry Potter to collide, and all of these things that mash up. And so we've got Lego sets in my parents' house that now, my nephew, their grandson, will play with. And I'm sure all of the children over Christmas that visit the house will be playing with Lego that, we put together as kids, and that my eldest brother put together as a kid. And, it is just a brilliant, remashable gift that will last for such a long time. Yeah. And this is not a paid promotion for Lego, but it's just about thinking about, how the right gift can give a lot more than lots of little gifts, or lots of the wrong gift, or even lots of the right gift. It's you don't want to dilute how special the gift giving process is.
Yeah, exactly. That reminds me, actually. So there's an article that Martin Lewis wrote on, I think this is his website, 97 Expert, on gift giving and the signing up. We'll post a link to it. It's a nice article.
Yeah.
I think everyone feels the same, but everyone's afraid to say, actually, we buy too much, and no one wants to disappoint anyone. But I think being brave to say, do you know what, we spend too much, this is ridiculous, shall we sign up to this agreement where we cap our spending on whatever it is, and set some rules. Maybe it's something that's only consumable, like something you can eat, and it's a homemade something, or maybe it's from a charity shop, or maybe it's something like that, or a token gift, like a nothing more than a cost of a book, something like that. Or you just say, we don't need to buy each other gifts, just spending time with each other is good enough. So
even a Secret Santa. This is our favourite trick with friends, and my partner does it in her family as well, because then you're not buying a gift. Say there's 5 of you, you're not buying 5 gifts, you buy 1 gift. You can put a lot more time and thought into the 1 gift, and no one feels left out. And I just think there's too much pressure on gift buying and gift giving. And there are actual solutions to avoid that pressure and avoid the expense, and still make Christmas as magical and live up to all your dreams and your kids' dreams and all the rest of it.
Yeah. One last idea there is that you can do something like, say, right, we'll all agree that we'll go to a show or have a night out or do something.
Yeah.
And that's your Christmas present to everybody. Then you're spending more time with your family and friends, and you're all agreeing to this date to do something. It's another nice way of doing it.
I love experience gifts, and it's something that I do with my partner, and we'll often say, like, especially if you're on the same wavelengths as someone, you can say, oh, we both probably want this thing, let's just buy it together, and that's our gift to each other. And you still, you get the magical experience, you get all of the memories that come from either doing a thing or having a thing, whatever it is. But I don't know, I think there's options.
Yeah. Okay, I think we've covered gift giving and Christmas, and why we hate Christmas, and
no, we love Christmas. We just think we can do better. Grinch.
No, I do love Christmas. I do. It's just the overwhelming of the oh my god, there's so much stuff. Yeah. Well, Matt, you know what time it is?
I do. It is the best time of the week.
The best time of the week. Everyone's been waiting to get on with it. Stop moaning about Amazon. Stop moaning about Christmas. We want problem of the week, Matt.
Well then, let's give the people what they want. It is Problem of the week.
Do you know what? Last week I was watching I did the edit last week, and in my mind I played the music, and I did it again. Then I just realised that when you do the spin, I sort of mimic you and do a little edit at the same time.
Our problem of the week is taking the bins out.
Taking the bins out.
I think there's just like a bigger issue around bins as a whole, and I really like a filthy problem because no one wants to touch them. It's like under-designed because it's like it's not got the appeal, it's not got the attraction. You know, the engineers and the designers are like, oh, I'm not gonna deal with bins. Oh, gross! Like, I'm not gonna do anything around that. Less so these days, but there's definitely like you can see the areas that don't get developed because no one wants to touch them.
The worst thing with the bin is like when you when you take the bag out, and then it's heavy because you've crammed like every bit of air out of it, and you've rammed it because no one wants to take it out, and then it's like you're gonna have to put it on the floor whilst you tie the top together or whatever, and there's like something leaked and you got like a slimy bottom, so it means you can't put it down because you're gonna just spread the slime through your house.
I actually saw something that this is completely unplanned. I just had to check the name. They're a brand I really like. They've got a catchy name. I think they might be Australian, but if I'm wrong, then don't hold it against me. They're called Who Give a Crap, or Who Gives a Crap. And one of their products is an eco-friendly bag. And the reason I see this is they've got a video that's gone a bit viral recently about putting jelly in a bag. And it's this exact problem of the juices that pass through the membrane of the bag. And so it's them versus a competitor. I think it's a small like bin liner type bag, and they're showing how much they can carry, but it's still a more eco-friendly bag. So there are people out there already thinking about these problems. We were talking about one of the other problems, which is the hassle of finding and flapping with bin bags. Like you can never find the edge, and you've got to like do this whole like medieval dance just to get it out of the roll and into the bin. If you can even remember where you've got them, if you've got any left.
Yeah, there are some life hacks on putting the bin in the.
Yes, we love a good life hack.
The liner. I can't demonstrate any, but there's one where you so if you shake it open so it's like fully extended in the air, and then you squeeze the air out so it's like from top to bottom, so it's a sausage, and then you can put it in so it touches the bottom, and then you tuck the top around so that it goes in without having to fight with it.
Yeah, I saw a video once of someone, I think they were like park bins, or it's like on an industrial scale, like in a theme park or something, and they like just whip them out of their pocket, one flap, and it like they've done it so the vacuum that it creates when you flap it out like perfectly fills the void of the container it was going to. So it's like a one flap and it's done. They would just like walk away. Yeah, that was really slick.
Nice. So when you this come from your bugbear. What is the problem? Is the problem taking the bag from the kitchen garbage bin? I'm saying garbage because we've got a massive following in America. I think we've got one listener. And Canada. Is that the problem? Or is it when you put it in like your wheelie bin outside, is it taking the bin from the house to the curbside?
Well, I mean, we're going after everyone in this episode. We've gone after Amazon, and now I'm going to go after the local council.
Oh my God. We're going to get shut down next week. There's so many lawsuits against us.
Yeah, next week's episode, we got sued, sorry.
Redacted.
Yeah.
We love Amazon.
I'm not actually going to say the council because I don't want to give away my address, but we don't have wheelie bins. And that means that bin night comes along. So there's part one of the problem. You've got to like take the bag out, tie it up or whatever. And then you're like dragging this like awful, stinky, maybe drippy thing through the house with bin juice and whatever. You've got the interim waiting spot. For some people, it might be the same as collection day if they've been smart, and the wheelie bin is where it gets picked up anyway. But you still got to get there. You've got to get this thing that you don't want to be holding or touching to this place that's not immediately accessible. And then for us, we have another whole process where the bin day is coming. So you go and get the bins from this intermediate waiting zone, and you just put them on the street. So there's just bin bags all over the street. And obviously what happens is foxes and rats come out at night and destroy literally everything. The council comes along and puts a letter through the letterbox like they're doing some good. And they say, don't put your bins out too early. And you go, yeah, but like what time is late enough? We're supposed to do it the morning of when the collection happens at 5 a.m? I doubt that. So anyway, you've got this litter all over the road. You've got like this whole collection process. The streets are never clean because they get ripped open. By the time the street cleaners have come, it's like halfway through the week and you're almost like starting the cycle again. So it's just mess at every step. I hate it.
Yeah, so I used to pick you up when we car shared on the way to work, and I remember on a Wednesday it was piles of rubbish where they thought we'd go around and put them all together, and then just spills all the way along the road where a bag's ripped, and it's just rubbish all up the road.
Yeah.
But I mean, that one's the answer to that one, or the simple one, is to have wheelie bins. But obviously,
Yes, you would think it's a simple answer.
for that one, yeah. But yeah, it is a big problem. I think it is worth actually saying how lucky we are to actually have garbage collection from your house.
All right,
You're-
to point out how spoiled I am, and I'm whining about the...
You've only got to miss the bins once, or not put them out and they don't get
It's so
collected,
true.
and you've got this overflowing problem that you're unhappy about because your own waste is filling up. So then it makes you very grateful that the fact that thank goodness we live in a society where our rubbish is just removed and out of sight. You don't see it anymore, and that's it. Once it's gone, it's gone. It's outside, and it's not your problem. That's it. It just disappears. So it could be a lot worse. We could have to try and figure out how to dispose of it and do that part of the journey, but we don't. So
Yeah. So there are some solutions we've come across. I've just been reminded of another one I've seen in maybe the Netherlands or Germany, somewhere sophisticated in Europe like that. And they have these kind of like sunken bins at street level, and they've got like obviously the different compartments for the different things. You've got glass, waste, whatever. You put the things in. At street level, you've only got like a normal bin, put the stuff in, and then a truck comes along, picks this thing up, and actually it's got a hidden like bunker under street level. So it's like a void. So you can fill them quite a lot. So they come along once a week, whatever. Pick them up, put them over the truck, and then I'll see if I can find a clip that we can link. And they just empty into the truck, and then they put them back. And so they've got the compartments in and it's like this such a quick, painless, smellless, dirtless process that someone's just going, yeah, this is obviously how you do it. What are you doing in the UK with wheelie bins?
yeah, great idea. So that solves the rubbish in the street
Yeah.
solution. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to follow our normal theme of thinking, if we was to start from scratch, how we design it.
Stop wasting, obviously.
Stop wasting, yeah. Most of your waste comes from food containers. So if you was to have food like piped into your house,
Bring back face tube.
face tube, yeah.
You got me
swear-
there. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, I swear to God, our first merch is going to be face tube related.
It's like a cult following for something that makes no sense to the rest of the
Yeah.
brand or anything we're doing.
Yeah, if anyone's not sure, there is an episode where face tube's in the title and all will be explained. Yeah, so that solves that problem. So stop wasting to start with.
Yeah.
There's composting. That, although we did try and tackle that with one of our early business ideas, and
Solved it. We solved it. We've moved on.
okay, cool.
That's how we're funding this business, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Is it? I mean, there's garbage chutes in some buildings. I think in America. I'm not sure about here. I guess that's I don't know whether you have to sort of carry your bin down the stairs when you live in blocks of flats and things like that.
Yeah. Chuck it out the window.
Yeah. Check out the window.
I
Drones.
think it's actually a really good idea. And if your house layout, I mean, maybe it's even more fundamental than that, and you just need to be planning for these things, like architecture. I want an architect to think about where my bins go. Have a hatch in the kitchen. I assume that's where most people throw things out, in the kitchen.
Well, I actually do. It's a bit of a life hack, really. My kitchen window opens onto like a little alleyway down the side of my house, and the window opens outwards so that you can get access to a bin that's underneath it. So my recycle bin is a wheelie bin. Every bin day, it'll be emptied. I'll lift the lid. I'll wheel it up underneath the window, and it'll sit there. So any recycle just goes out the window. And it's very easy. Like, you don't have that intermediate step of having to pile it up in your kitchen, then move from the kitchen to outside. So, yeah, I'd recommend that. Obviously, if it's dirtier stuff, you don't want to have to leaving it over. But a quick way to get it outside the house into the receptacle that just needs to be wheeled to the end of the, onto the curb for collection day is I highly recommend it. If you
I
can
like
do it.
that. So, life hack, live at Neil's house. We'll post his address if you're...
There's enough people here, to be honest with you. We don't want both our listeners showing up.
Yeah. I mean, like, maybe you bring the end treatment closer to home. So composting is obviously one of the end treatments for waste that will degrade on its own. And you can do that at home. There are solutions. And maybe one day we'll get around to solving that a bit better. But incinerators, recapture the energy from your waste at home. Just have a little fire pit. Don't worry about those plastics. I'm sure it's fine to breathe in those toxic chemicals.
I mean, if there wasn't single-use plastics, that wouldn't be a problem.
So we need face tube in combination with home incinerators.
Yeah.
But I think the last one that you were telling me about was something we came across when we were researching something where we used to work.
So I came across this when I was researching different types of rail and rail systems. And I mean, this doesn't solve the problem of getting the bins from your inside your house to outside the house. But this is if you have a lot of bins to wheel to the end of your driveway, if you have a driveway. I think it's a guy in America. Sorry, not America, Germany. And they have about 5 different recycled bins, wheelie bins. And where you have to sort of separate glass into one and paper in another and blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot to put out every week.
Yeah.
So he made a train system. So all of his bins are down the side of his house, down a little alleyway, and they all sit on their own little cart that's got a train track underneath it. And then he just pressed the button and they all just sort of follow each other out and they go out that way, and then at the end of the when they're collected, they just go back in. I thought it was brilliant.
I think my favourite thing about the video is the way he develops it. It's like, it's snowing and he's like out there. He's like, oh yes, you can see in the snow, this has happened. And so I'm going to fix it with this. And you're like, it's just so over-engineered, but it works so well.
Yeah. It's so funny the things you come across when you research. So we worked for a rail-based system and we was looking at, innovations in rail and how things are done differently. And this was one where I think you just had one rail-based wheel and a gear and something different. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. And it turns out we actually learned about how to put bins out automatically. Yeah, we'll put a link to that one as well. Okay, all right. I think we've solved this one. There's plenty of options.
Don't waste.
When we start a new society, when we buy that desert island and start from scratch. These are not going to be problems.
No.
It would just be money would be the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, we should wrap it up and
take it away.
Leave it there, ready for next week. Okay, so thank you once again to all of our dear listeners.
It's been a pleasure having you. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, we really appreciate you. We appreciate all the comments we get from people who say they're enjoying what we're doing and all the feedback that we get. Reminder that if you want to help us, you can do that by sharing episodes of the podcast. If there's anything that we've shared on social media, then again, share it on, even if it's privately to a WhatsApp friend. If they watch it, the platforms know, and that helps us grow. So, that rhymes. Maybe there's a catchphrase. Yes, that's good. We should wrap it up there and say the famous line, Matt.
Invention Junkies out.
Chip boy.
See ya.
Bye.